All right, we're gonna get into it pretty quickly here. Welcome everybody to round 2 of Osborne Formula Ultimate Challenge OFUC Season 2 underway, with the beginning of qualifying. If I can hit the buttons to do the cool thing, we'll see it all happen for you. We're gonna ride on board. We're at Fuji. I think I have race info. I don't think my round number is not correct, but we're at round 2 at Fuji Speedway without the chicane, so no chicane configuration. Welcome everybody. I am Fennicini, once again joining you in the broadcasting booth for the second season. I am going to try to bring you as much on-track action as I can. Might be a little bit slower paced than some of our other previous nights. We'll see what we can do. As all that says there, 30 minutes qualifying, not 20 minutes. That means but 30 minutes qualifying, 30 minutes of practice, 15-minute open qualifying, and then 45 minutes of racing. We are already in qualifying. They're getting their first laps done at the moment. So let's hop back on this, and we're going to check a little onboard with the roll bar. That's Tony Caicedo off on the outside of turn number. I thought I had the turn numbers pulled up. The answer is I did not. Everything else I need. Let's see here if I can get this all squared away. We can get some going in the background as well. All right. And then go. See if I can give you guys a bit of an on-track guide here as we look at times. Jason Larson setting the first official posted time for all of these drivers as they get underway here. Off tracks from both Kevin Hayes and Tony Caicedo. 6 drivers out on track right now. We have the option for more if people join up. We'll see who can ride along for a lovely lap of Fuji Speedway. Kevin Hayes, I share the booth with on Tuesdays, out there trying to get laps in this evening. See if we can ride along board with Kevin Hayes next time by. He comes on that finish line, assuming he does a lap here. Coming to the last couple corners now. Nets is that little spot in between 14 and 15. There are a total of 16 corners here. You're looking at them coming out of the 15th, the penultimate corner before turn 16, and final corner onto this large, long, fantastically, just ridiculously long straight. Longest, I think, consecutive straight in sim racing. In sim racing, I think outside of maybe the Nordschleife, I should clarify that. Certainly one of the longest of tracks that Formula One actively goes to over the course of its years, and Super Formula for sure. Turn number 1, we're diving into it. It's a lovely hairpin with a nice decline down through turn number 1. Open everything else, get us onto a fantastic roll bar cam. There we go. Into the braking zone. Coca-Cola corner is the name of turn number 3. And we go around 4 and 5, what is known as 100R. I believe it's 100 radius corner there, down into the hairpin. Turn number 6, turn number 7, shooting out of that hairpin. Flat out from here, 300R into Dunlop, which is a lovely corner. We're taking the no chicane version, which means we don't get to see a lovely chicane there, which both helps the pace of this lap for them, but also makes it a little faster. See that there, you can see a little where the chicane usually runs off to the right of them as he goes through it. 13th corner, and we're going into Nets here. We're heading over to 16th, Panasonic, which is the 16th corner, also known as Panasonic. And to round out the lap here at Fuji. Fast lap, 101 minute and 28 seconds usually. I believe currently with time towers on the board, Kevin Hayes has the fastest lap at 129.27. I saw 128.9 in practice. We'll see if that holds up. Kevin heads back over the line. And we'll continue to set times there, running a little wide as we go. 5 of the 6 drivers managing to set a time. Mitch Bonaventura also setting one. Anthony Bowen, the only driver yet to set a time. Fuji is one of my favorite speedways, especially with cars that have downforce. That's a little wide there for Kevin Hayes. I'm guessing that'll be counted as an off track for him. Might be something he'll have to try to figure out if he can get that situation sorted. 15 minutes of open qualifying, so plenty of time there for all these drivers to kind of improve off of their initial lap times. I know Tony Caicedo looking to try to dethrone Kevin Hayes at the front, and Charles Rotz also looking to get back to his 1:30 lap times prior. Sorry about that. Kevin Hayes pulling into the box alongside Mitch Buenaventura. Jason Larson dethroning the Kevin Hayes for the top of the timing tower, a 129.1, getting himself a solid 10th and some change. Last time out, Tony Caicedo took home, I believe, the victory with Kevin Hayes following shortly behind P number 2. Well, we haven't talked about it. I don't have the points up easily for last week, but everybody gets points this time by in OFUC throughout the entire season. Tony Caicedo with that win, leading ahead of Kevin Hayes. Joey Trungale in third in the overall championships, though I don't see him here tonight. Matthew Markley, also another driver with 75 points in fourth. Charles Rotz on track, getting that 130.8 in there. Love to see that improvement for Charles Rotz up to that time there. Still about a second behind. Sorry, half a second. No, sorry, a full second. I was right the first time, questioned myself, and then needed to correct myself second time. Both half a second behind, or ahead of Mitch Buenaventura. Charles Rotz finds himself in fourth. Fifth overall standings, Devin Adams and Anthony Bowen are the 7 drivers currently on the OFUC leaderboards. And with less than 5 minutes left to go, Mitch Buenaventura looking to improve his lap time from that 131.0. Try to see if you can close that gap down to Charles Rhodes as well, or maybe get into that fight with Tony Caicedo, Kevin Hayes, and Jason Larson for the head of the field. Crunch there for Mitch Bonaventura, and Anthony Bowen trying to find the last couple tenths there to close the gap between himself and 5th place. Two minutes to go as Mitch Bonaventura trying to find time there. And Kevin Hayes also looking to close the couple tenths between himself and Jason Larson up at the top of the field, as well as build a little bit more of a gap in the qualifying numbers between himself and Tony Caicedo for that initial start. Anthony Bowen improves his lap time on 131.38, but does not get any faster in terms of, or does not improve any positions, I should say. Oh, Kevin Hayes may have run just a little too wide there. Let's see. Mitch Bonaventura struggling with that car as he finds the runoff outside of the hairpin in the middle of that lap. And we'll have to reset the pit lane. His final run and final attempt at a qualifying run coming to a unceremonious close. Kevin Hayes getting one final opportunity here to try to improve his lap time, as well as Anthony Bowen, I believe, also outrunning, just coming across the start-finish line now. We'll see if he improves any. He doesn't get qualified, I believe, as a registered time, so I think he unfortunately does not get that option, as well as, so we wait patiently for Kevin Hayes to see if he improves his time at all. It's green sectors for sectors 1 and 2, and a spin out of sector 3 outside of nets will end that qualifying run as well. So, with the checkered flag flying for qualifying, we're going to bring up our grid, take a look at the positions as they stand for the beautiful start to this race. Once they become public. So, waiting on that qualifying to finish. And then we will be going underway hopefully soon. Perhaps. Maybe. What are we waiting on here? Just wait on time. Show my crash. Sauce crash. I will show your crash. The sauce crash. Let's take a look in the most recent lap for Charles Rotes. I assume this is the crash you speak of. Lap with the crash you speak of here. All right. First lap done and dusted. A fantastic opening lap there. Being given updates from my partner about the status of the stream, so forgive me. The Kevin Hayes getting a better launch than Jason Larson in the first couple corners. Tony Caicedo also having a great run, being in P2 for most of that. But I believe Jason Larson and Tony Caicedo getting a fantastic run here into the braking zone for turn number 1 here on lap 2. Winch Bonaventura right behind them, I believe, also had the same thing. Oh, actually, this was at the end of the lap. Not at the end of the lap, just in Coca-Cola Corner. I just can't. I don't know my track identifiers. So these drivers now a little spread out at the moment. Watching Kevin Hayes and Jason Larson, as well as Tony Caicedo, all try to make up the time there for the start of this race to take home the podium positions and what order they finish in. everybody's getting faster laps for pretty much everyone all across the board. See where they'll end up. Run real wide for Kevin Hayes. I believe that's an off track for him. Mitch Bonaventura being listed as an off track there for a brief moment. That keeps it going the right direction. Charles Rotes trying to find and close that distance behind him. The front runners not really getting too far away from each other. Blocking up the brakes is Kevin Hayes in the lead there. It's going to cost him maybe a little bit of time, but Jason Larson, I think, being patient, has actually opened up that gap even more so than I think it would have been otherwise. Jason Larson has set the fastest lap. Tony Caicedo, I think, is hanging on to the coattails, trying to keep up with both of them. But he runs that car off wide, so it'll be an incident point for him. Leave the incident point limit here. If I remember correctly, we'll see my math or my memory is right. It's going to be a total of 14 incidents before a drive-through penalty. As they come down the start-finish stretch, Jason Larson not opting to worry about the draft this time by. At about a second, it's about the draft here really kind of falls off around that area as well. And while it's not a clean lap, the lap for Kevin Hayes is labeled as a 1:29.32, so the fastest of the pair of them. Jason Larson setting the fastest lap this last time by as well. That was a qualified lap to be considered a good one. So gap there between all these cars up to about a second each. So we'll have to see how the pit stop cycle weighs in the favor of everyone as we get underway here. All of these cars still go in the right directions. No major incidents for these drivers as they get through the first 5 minutes. Taking a quick look back further in the field, Charles Rotes, one I talked with earlier before the stream, individual who was very excited about the fact that he was able to set 130s pretty consistently, and I think he's gone faster here than he has even in practice, and probably his practice before this race. So it's very cool to see that time still improve. Jason Larson getting the better time here, but Kevin Hayes setting the fastest time with a 128.84. The gap between all these drivers and the top three up to a second each between all of them. Tony Caicedo slowly trying to chip away at that time between himself and Jason Larson, but this lap might extend that gap as I see an off track for both him as well as Mitch Bonaventura behind him. So we'll have to see how all that shakes out over the next few laps. Another solid lap for Charles Rotes that gets qualified as his fastest with a 130.35, which is about 3/10 slower than Mitch Bonaventura, just under 3/10, excuse me. So we'll have to see over the next few laps if Charles can close that gap or if Mitch Bonaventura has an incident that brings them back into fighting each other. Charles gridded ahead of Mitch Bonaventura, but he has had a fantastic run pretty consistently through nets here. We're just now seeing them drive through is where Charles went off. That ceded the position to Mitch Bonaventura. So we'll have to see how all of that shakes out. Tony Caicedo and Jason Larson still a second away from each other, and now 2-second gap between Kevin Hayes and Jason Larson. I gave those to you in the reverse order of how they are on the standing times. If we look at our time deltas between all three of these drivers, so let me pull that up on the broadcast here. Not time delta, excuse me, the sectors is the thing I'm looking for. That is the thing I'm looking for. We see all three of these drivers. We see the times that Kevin Hayes is setting. Jason Larson is about 400ths slower in the first sector. Tony Caicedo about a 10th slower in sector number one. So Kevin is just building a gap there but we'll see if he is losing time in Sector 2 here. It looks like it based on these intervals and how they're compressing between the two cars, specifically Kevin and Jason. Yeah, the times there, especially for Tony Caicedo, really capitalizing, about a tenth faster than Kevin Hayes in that sector. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. I believe we'll do probably the same for Charles Rhodes and Mitch Buenaventura. I believe they're both kind of in the same pace, especially in this most recent lap for both of them. Charles Rhodes 500ths faster, so if he can keep up that momentum, he might find himself closing that distance to Mitch and his P4 starting place. Anthony Bowen, first casualty of the evening. I believe he got a self-spin coming through nets here. Turn 14, turn 15. This is one where it gets really unsettled if you get on the gas too early, and you can just see that car just ever so slowly lose control. Keeps it out of the wall, though. And has to figure out how to get it back onto the track without causing problems. But it's also not a car that really likes it when you slam on the throttle, unfortunately. So it'll spin on you just as easily as it'll reclaim you. But he gets the car going back in the right direction, and he's still in that fight, because every so possible that one of these cars has an even worse encounter with the wall. Taking a look at where we're at here, still riding on board, or at least following along with Jason Larson. Taking a look at these sector battles between Jason Larson, Tony Caicedo, and Kevin Hayes. I blanked on that part of it. And I'm going to take a look now at where they're at for the last 5 laps. The lap time history. See, that gives us another understanding of where everyone's at in terms of pace. Yeah, last 5 laps, each one losing a little bit of time. Exception being lap 6 is the one where it seemed to be kind of going back in the favor of at least Jason Larson and 2 from Kevin Hayes to close that distance. But unfortunately, it looks like that is not the case, as Kevin Hayes resets the fastest lap of the race so far. So we are 11 minutes in. We're getting close to the 1/3 distance marker, which anywhere from there to about 30 minutes is usually the pit window, usually in about 23 to 24 minute marker specifically. Half fuel, meaning they do need fuel sometime in this race. Tony Caicedo having a really good third sector here by comparison to Jason Larson. You can see that relative as they kind of continue. If I change this, put this away, let me see our last time, and I add in our gap interval. You see gaps between all these drivers, how they reflect versus the front runners. Still, Kevin Hayes really getting that car about half a lap faster for each of them. Tony Caicedo slowly reeling in Jason Larson. That gap was down to just about a second. We'll see in the next few laps if that is consistent. He's able to keep that time between the two of them. Keep more time there. A 129.38, but a 129.14 for Tony Caicedo. The math currently goes in the way of Tony if he can keep it up over the next 30 or so minutes to keep improving that time. Taking the battle for first overall, though it is in a way of the relative in the lap. So almost all the drivers floating around on that timing tower. In fact, all the drivers floating around that timing tower in that battles box. See all the relative positions. We're still kind of hanging out with Jason Larson. Move back to Tony Caicedo. The numbers shift, but all 6 drivers and where their position is on the lap just being showcased there. But time giveth and time taketh, and that gap reopening back up between Jason Larson and Tony Caicedo. Let's see if I can hop onto an onboard real quick. You can see how far away you can see Jason Larson right up there in the distance. Just gotta look over the shoulder of Tony, where he's at in the lap, coming through nets once more. Third of the way, completed 16 minutes done of the 45 for this race. New fastest lap for Kevin as he keeps closing that distance. 128, or keeps increasing that distance. Yeah, that's probably a right way to say that. 128.62, another 10th faster than his previous laps as he keeps increasing the time here. Woo. Woo indeed, chat. A fantastically consistent night for Tony so far. Still keeping within a second of Jason Larson. Jason Larson starting to show a couple cracks in the armor, losing a little bit of time here and there, down to a second between himself and Tony Caicedo, but both of them about a half second to a second slower than Kevin Hayes at the moment. He's just running away with P1. Mitch Buenaventura still holding on to P4. Charles Rotes trying to keep that car on the track, struggling to do so, but Mitch Buenaventura at 12 off track, so I don't know if that's just specifically in the race or if that is in total, including practice. I think it is. So I don't think he's quite that far into his incident limit and to be riding right along that edge. But I could be wrong. Tony Caicedo weaving down the front stretch to increase that. An off track for himself. Still a second between them. At 128 for Tony Caicedo as he breaks in that barrier as well. The 128.96. A pretty fantastic lap there for him. Only 400ths slower than Jason Larson. Jason Larson getting a bit of a rough deal here, though he's losing a little bit of time to Tony in about the second and third sectors. It's down to under a second now. You can see over in that battle for first. I think if we can swap it over to the position here, we'll see a battle for second between Tony and Jason Larson, going up to a second. And see those three that can then continue to duke it out. So he has lost a little time here. Let's see how well they go if we find him. Do we have, how many onboards do we have that are full? It's not that one. No, it's not that one. Get a good shot of Tony Caicedo's helmet, which I believe is a F1 helmet. Liveried, not sure exactly whose. Lewis Hamilton's, Chance, at Ferrari. I take a gander, but I could be wrong. You know what? I'm gonna go ask him. I haven't hopped into the booth to say hi yet, as I want to do, and I have zero reason not to.
What up, man?
Howdy, y'all.
What's up, man?
Oh, just coming in to ask, what helmet, what livery is your helmet?
Whose?
Yours, Tony.
Mine?
Yes.
I think I recently changed it to like Lewis Hamilton's Vodafone helmet.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
I think that's what it is right now.
That is a surprisingly accurate guess for someone who does not remember helmets that well.
Did you see
There you
mine?
go. Not bad.
I have not seen yours yet, but I will now.
Mine is a real helmet that matches with my livery perfectly.
Fantastic. Is it also a Lewis Hamilton livery?
You know, yes, but you know what year?
Of course, no. I barely know drivers, let alone years in Formula 1.
It's his 2015 championship helmet.
Gotcha. So one of the important ones. Very good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mine's just tough, man.
Oh, but I mean, that's, I think, one of the most important ones. Is your stuff, man? It looks like a
Bump drafting
Red
these
Bull
cars.
Aston Martin one.
Oh, my helmet? Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
a Red Bull.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Not the liveries, the helmets. Tony, you're battling down the front straight with Jason Larson.
That I am.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
You just had a very slow lap there. Bad exit out of the final corner, I think.
Oh my god.
Don't die. You got this.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I've been lambasted for saying real helmet instead of fake helmet in chat.
Who even is in the chat right now? I'm just like dying to know.
At least my partner, amongst others.
There we go. Hell yeah.
Raina's keeping me company in the chat. So.
I think my wife might be watching.
Oh man! So all of our partners are watching. So.
Mine's at school.
I'll tell my wife to put it on.
If she.
Hell yeah.
Watch me drive by myself the whole time.
Well, I think we're watching the currently the only on track battle at the moment between these two.
I can't get even close to their time, so I'm just...
You can put the camera on me every once in a while and I'll look pretty.
That's kind of what I've been doing for at least a little bit of it. Has been cycling through and looking at everybody's. Jason Larson's helmet, not a real helmet. What is this? All right, I'll leave y'all to it. You guys have pit stops here in what, 5 minutes time?
Like 3 laps, 4 laps.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, well, good luck with those. Good luck with the rest of the race. I'll probably be back.
Thank you,
some
Finn.
point.
Thank you.
Nope.
I'm absconding back to the booth. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. And that is a faux helmet. It is a faux helmet. It's not a real helmet, so it's faux. It's a false helmet. Jason Larson trying to catch up with Tony Caicedo. Had the pace early on. I wonder if the fatigue of racing the Nürburgring combined before this is getting to him. But on top of that, Mitch Bonaventura in that Duff liveried Super Formula Light. For a while, I felt like it was an incorrect one in Season 1 of OFUC, but it turns out that is in fact the correct livery. Currently, desperately trying to keep up with P1 and P2, or trying to get anywhere in there. And Tony, and oh, there's the fake out from Tony as Jason Larson desperately tries to hang on for the draft as they go into the braking zone of turn number 1. This might be another pass for position. Jason Larson has the draft, has the inside line, but has to get early on the brakes to not run into Tony. Tony ends up being run wide, but has now the battle going into it. Mitch Bonaventura running off track. Okay, he's good. He's not dead. I was really concerned that he had been murdered while I watched this race between these two. And they both lock up those brakes. Tony not having the best of laps here as he works his way around. Kevin Hayes, 7 seconds in the lead. No issues there for him as long as he doesn't spin it, which he is known to do from the lead of the race. An unfortunate curse of his, which I'm hoping he doesn't. Hope he doesn't replicate here this evening. As Jason Larson, Tony Caicedo come around the same corner as well. About 2 to 3 laps is what I was told by Tony just a moment ago. But we'll see how well that works, and if Kevin Hayes is doing any amount of fuel saving. He is been one to do that. As we go back into the battle here for positions, and he actually dives in. Jason Larson, our first of the front runners here, driving in to the pit lane to get his pit stop done. It's definitely not a pit stop camera there. Do we have a pit lane camera? I do. Cool. Pit lane. It's a long pit lane because it's all of the start-finish stretch pretty much. So it's a very long one. You end up going down here for a hot minute. And he's going to find his box, the very front one right behind that Porsche safety car that doesn't really get used much in this one. Into the box. Gets the fuel and tires. I think just fuel for him. He gets out there and back in racing order there, right behind Charles Rotes. So they get up into position there. So with that 6-second gap, or sorry, an 8-second gap between Kevin and Tony, and a 6-second gap between him, Tony, and Mitch, as well as Charles Rotes, a solid 30 seconds behind, and Jason Larson hounding Charles Rotes after his own pit cycle. Anthony Bowen back in pit lane. I wonder if that's for a black flag. Just throw for I have the power to throw a full course yellow. I think it would be a gross abuse of my power to throw in a full course yellow. If this was a little bit longer, like an endurance round where there was the chance for one of those. Kevin Hayes also diving into the pit box for his pit stop. Tony Caicedo in as well, not wanting to be one to get caught out by that undercut, I believe is the fancy formula terms used there. Mitch Bonaventura outlasting both of them to run his own race and takes over the lead of the race for at least a lap here. So we'll see how far he gets with this one. I'll put away this battles box as it is not, actually it doesn't matter because it'll automatically go away on its own as soon as it's like this. So pits times there pretty quick here. A total of 6 seconds for Kevin, total of 7 seconds in the box for Tony. Jason Larson, 5 seconds, gets out a whole second ahead of Tony. So Tony has to do all that work all over again to get past Jason Larson, excuse me. I almost said Kevin Larson. That's a different driver there. And Charles Rotes into his pit box for his pit stop of the night. Mitch Bonaventura coming through nets at this very moment before making his way around to Panasonic. And the final corner of the lap, see if he works his way into pit lane this time by the last driver on the lead lap to make his green flag pit stop. Has to be done sometime here in the next little while. Question is, how late is he going to push it? Looks like he is bailing in this lap to get it done. Answer is yes. He dives into pit lane. Oh, hard on the brakes. Locks him up, but I think he gets that car below the required speed limit for the pit stop. And with that, all 6 drivers have at least done their pit stop. I believe stop and go has been served by Anthony Bowen. I'm not sure exactly what for. But Kevin Hayes back across start finish line. Total of, I believe, 6 seconds ahead of Jason Larson, who is 2 seconds ahead of Tony Caicedo. Tony Caicedo trying to warm up those tires so they can be put to good use to make a run back up the podium. He got past Jason Larson once. He now just needs to do it again. Charles Rotes gets listed as crashed, but I don't know if that's actually true. We'll find out. Let's hit this button. What happened, Charles? Did you actually spin, or is it just a simple, you locked it up? Yep, you can hear the tires already squealing, but it's a very easy, quick lockup, and he gets that car going in the right direction without any too much hassle at all. And Mitch Buenaventura cycling back out into P number 4 from where he started, or where he was prior to the pit cycle of all of these drivers. 7 seconds in the pit box, pretty common fare for those drivers as well. So the gap now 2.5 seconds to Tony Caicedo. I think Tony Caicedo is getting those tires, or struggling to get those tires up to temperature. Taking a look back at Charles Rotes real quick. See he weaves down the start finish stretch. Just having fun with it, I think, at this point. I believe he knows he's on camera at this point. Having a bit of a fun race, kind of in his own world. However, as a result of a couple of the spins, stuff of that nature. As he gets through turn number 1 through the hairpin. Very fun camera angle for us. And works his way back through a lap here. As we come across, I believe, the halfway mark. We're well over the halfway mark. Excuse me. I thought we were closer to that than we were. Excuse me. Full what? What was I trying to say? Good job, brain. Pit stops have been complete. We are over halfway. We're in the final third of the race, I think is what I was trying to say before my brain just spat out the word full, like it meant something. And so, 2.5 seconds between Jason Larson, Tony Caicedo, kind of the battle to watch here on track. Mitch Buenaventura 9 seconds behind these two drivers. Kevin Hayes only 7 seconds ahead of Jason Larson. The gap between all of these drivers closing a little bit. It was up to 9 seconds at one point between Jason and Kevin. So we'll have to see. Kevin, I think, is finally going to have a good race. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to give him a commentator's curse, so I'm not going to talk about it any more than that. And we'll see how these all fare out. I wonder if he and all these other drivers have fueled correctly or not. I'm guessing they would have. I don't know why they wouldn't have. 2 seconds, 7 seconds now. Let's go. That gap is closing by a pretty healthy margin for Kevin Hayes. I wonder if there's not some fuel saving going on of some kind. Yeah, 129.43 this most recent time by, versus a 129.36 and a 129.16 from Jason and Tony respectively. Let's see. Let's hop on. We're going to look at Jason Larson. We're going to hop over to one of these cameras. Let's go with this one. I'm going to use this one a little bit. And we're going to then pop up our whole lap time marker here. There's smoke in the background. Who was that? Wasn't somebody I saw too seriously. Rolling lap times. Lap times here in the last 5 laps. Jason Larson gains 5 seconds by comparison to Kevin Hayes as the pit cycle happens for all of them. And then has gained a few hundredths over this last lap. The gap seems to be closing currently at about almost half a second per lap between Jason Larson and Tony Caicedo. That's only after obviously the most recent lap. We'll have to see where that number actually comes down to. It doesn't, according to the timing table and the lap deltas, it doesn't quite support anything besides, there's probably more of the support there, a 0.3 0.3 of a second, 0.3 seconds faster for Jason Larson, 0.4 seconds, and 4.5 really, and almost 0.4.5 seconds for Tony Caicedo. Those tenths will add up pretty quickly for Kevin Hayes. I gotta imagine there's got to be some sort of fuel saving there. Once again, Tony Caicedo setting a slightly faster lap time than Jason Larson. Both of them setting lap times again about 0.4 faster than Kevin Hayes up at the front of the field. We'll have to see if that stays that way though, or if he's doing that fuel saving to make sure that he has enough fuel to make it to the end if he has to do a +1. We'll have to see. Both of them, all 3 of these cars, 10 seconds ahead of Mitch Bonaventura, and another 40 seconds from Mitch Bonaventura down to Charles Rotz. Where's our last driver on the lead lap? If I hop open his battle box and just hit the relative lap button, you can see right behind him is Kevin Hayes. About 20 seconds behind him is Kevin Hayes, and Anthony Bowen about 9 seconds ahead, who I think is unfortunately just had a crash. We'll have to see. He does jump to pits. This you can see just loses it in Coca-Cola. Not the best place for it. That front wing gets knocked clean off as a result. So I think he's going to tow that car to pit lane pretty quickly. So another rough evening for him. Jason Larson losing a second this past time by. Let's go back to this marker here. Yeah, 10th lost to Kevin Hayes past time by. Tony Caicedo gaining 0.3 versus Kevin Hayes, so 0.4 to Jason Larson. So that gap is, I think, all of these gaps are pretty much closing at this point in some degree or another. Whether it's Tony Caicedo to Kevin Hayes or Jason Larson to Kevin Hayes, all seem to be moving in that direction. But let's see how those last 7 minutes shake down, as there is not much time for any other incidents for them to happen. That's a big wiggle out of Jason Larson. I don't think his lack of tires is starting to affect him. I didn't see that car go up on the jacks when we saw him come in for the pit stop, which means he might be rocking some old tires that are maybe not the happiest with him now, especially now that they've been cooled down and then reheated. But we'll have to see where that shakes out at the end of 45 minutes of racing, and these 6 drivers find their final spots on the timing tower at Fuji. will say huge credit to Anthony Bowen, who is still out here trying to get this car to the checkered flag. And he's having one heck of a race, but love to see him and having the commitment to keep going. Tony Caicedo, 0.6 behind Jason Larson. Then this battle heating back up. Take one more quick look at the lap times here. You'll see, I believe, that the gap between those two and P1, sorry, I stand corrected. It had opened up a little bit this past lap, but this most recent lap before last, lap 25, gap kind of opened back up between Jason Larson and Kevin Hayes, but now it's still getting closed back down. But the battle between the two of them is probably going to keep may keep Tony Caicedo from being able to cover those last 6 seconds. But he sets his personal best. Tony Caicedo setting his personal best over the course of this race. And getting the draft now into 300R and Dunlop corner. Not the Dunlop chicane. Runs really wide, though. Gets an off track there. That might be a slowdown penalty, which may or may not cost him a little bit. We'll have to see where that puts that lap time for him and if he gains more time there or not. Lockup for Tony Caicedo. He's really cooking those tires, trying to get that car under control. And unfortunately, I think that brings his battle with Jason Larson to a end for the moment. With 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes to go, we'll have to see whether or not he is able to rally that car back for the tenths that he had in trying to take home second place. Kevin Hayes still leading the pack there, having a fantastic run. 6 seconds still ahead of Jason Larson. Jason Larson now 3 seconds ahead of Tony Caicedo, 8 seconds ahead of Mitch Buenaventura. I'm seeing a pretty high incident count. I wonder if he has gotten a drive-through yet. Not that I expect him to. I hope he does not. But he does set a 128.85, a blistering lap time for Mitch Buenaventura. He really has gotten that car dialed in finally. It has only taken him a good portion of the evening, but he has got it done. That is super exciting to see that lap time come out of Mitch Buenaventura as we go into closing stages of this race. Charles Rotes, unsung hero, getting this race also to the checkered flag, seeing if he can try to stay on the lead lap. Mitch Buenaventura in Kevin Hayes, not Mitch Buenaventura, Kevin Hayes, right behind him, as well as the rest of the pack. And he is continuing to try to stay on the lead lap. He has 3 minutes left to do so and not go a lap down. Short laps here for these F3 cars, Super Formula Lights that are on the Dallara 324 chassis, which it shares with the F3 moniker. I'm a little tired. It's been a long day, so bear with me. And going through the hairpin. Not this next time by, but the time after we'll probably see the white flag, unless we get to less than 1:20 to go by the time, actually maybe, depending on where Kevin Hayes comes across the start-finish line to start the final lap. So watch these drivers continue. Tony Caicedo continuing to lose time there in the background. And Charles Rotes stays wide into Panasonic to allow Kevin Hayes to swing by and get through to continue his lead of the race unabated. See the white flag from Barney over on the flag stand. You can see it off the distance there. You see him there in the background of that shot. So we have less than 1:30 left to go on the clock, meaning that there is going to be one more lap. You see both flagmans waving that as they go into the hairpin for the final time. Kevin Hayes leading the 6 cars that started this race. All 6 cars going to the finish, which is a fantastic thing to see. all of these cars make it to the end and get some good points for the championship as a whole. With only 6 drivers, still fantastic points on offer. You get points no matter where you finish in this season of OFUC, so Osborne Formula Ultimate Challenge. So it is always pays to finish these races. Hop of the sausage curb there for Kevin Hayes as he comes around into nets for the final time. Just a couple more corners out of nets into turn 16 and Panasonic and down the drag strip towards the start-finish stretch. And he shoots out of Panasonic. And we'll see him take the checkered flag first. 8 seconds ahead of Jason Larson. Excuse me. And he will finish in P2. P3, Tony Caicedo, Charles Rotes in the group of cars here as well. They all finish the race here. Mitch Ventura only 5 seconds behind Tony Caicedo there at the end. So great recovery drive as he sets the fastest lap of the race and takes it away from Kevin Hayes in the final moments. As we hear a damaged car. Charles Rotes crashing that car out of the front. It's finished. Oh, that was exploded. Tony Caicedo, just parts everywhere. And burnouts for Charles Rotes as he is excited to have finished. Anthony Bowen coming on, taking the checkered flag, the 6th car out of the 6 starters. And we will get some results here as we go into the post-race ceremony. Kevin Hayes taking home the win there in the actual checkers or wreckers team, not the team started up by Marcus Osborne and Chris Kraus. That is a legal battle ongoing if you follow our Tuesday racing here. Jason Larson in P2, Tony Caicedo in Whatever You Want Racings for P3, Mitch Buenaventura, Charles Rotes, and Anthony Bowen round out your 6 finishers for OFUC. Well, a fantastic evening. I'm going to wrap it up. Actually, I'm not going to wrap it up pretty quickly. I'm just going to, I guess, go into the interview room for Kevin Hayes because I can't pull people into here. So, Kevin Hayes, welcome.
Hello.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you. See Tony wreck me after the flag?
I did watch Tony, and I'll go back and watch it, I think, in a little more detail. I heard the explosion as I was watching Mitch Buenaventura steal your fastest lap. So I'll go back.
Take it at the end.
Yeah, by 100th.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that was a brutal.
1,000th.
Sorry, 1,000th. Yeah, even
It was
faster.
2,000s,
Oh,
according to Mitch. He was scheming that entire time. He wanted to steal it from you. Kev, I just wanted to come in and congratulate you on the win. Nice job.
I mean, way to intentionally wreck me there at the end. I can still do donuts in front of you. How do you like that?
All right, I come here to congratulate you. You know what? Get lost.
oh my goodness,
All
Tony.
right, so what's up, man?
How you doing? And he DCs. Oh, Kevin Hayes giving over the win. Tony, come on P3. How was it?
Oh, it was a tough race. No, I mean, it was fine. I was hoping to catch just at the end.
Watching you launch Kevin into the stratosphere.
Oh my god. The fact that his car was still driving after that is hysterical.
He just only destroyed like one of his side pods, thankfully. Like, you didn't hit him like right in the gearbox where that would actually destroy the motor pretty
Yeah, for real.
aggressively. So,
Oh, that's too funny.
good stuff. Well, if you want to get in on this action, either the racing they've been watching for the past 45 minutes, or for the post-race shenanigans that we just see here, where do people go?
Where do people go?
Yeah, to get in on OFUC if they want to. If they have just
To get in on
found
OFUC?
us through YouTube's algorithms. As
You gotta join Omex Sim Racing.
Mhm.
And go from there. You can check out the Instagram page, the YouTube channel. I'm sure there's links to the Discord everywhere. Join OMEC
Yes.
and then ask for OFUC.
Certainly. Well, we will end off the evening there. Thank you all very much for watching. I've been Fettuccini in the booth. Tony Caicedo, the fantastic individual who puts this on every week, and just lovely individual to be around, specifically for OFUC.
Wow, you're so kind, man.
I mean, I was about to immediately go into the other part of that, which was the is an absolute menace on the Tuesday League OMEC racing. That is what is usually performed here on Tuesdays, not on Thursdays. I wasn't letting you get away scot-free with just trying to be nice to you.
Of course not. Never. Thank you to the drivers who show up to OFUC week in, week out. It's always very fun sharing the track with y'all. It was great to see Kevin peeling away from the field here, especially after his finish last week at Algarve.
He had a good finish, and I'm excited for him.
He had great pace. Phenomenal pace today.
And didn't spin it, which is always an improvement for Kevin.
Yeah, I'm glad. Dude, absolutely.
So
I wish you would join back.
So we will see. So we'll see you all next week. Where are we going next week, Tony?
Next week, I should know this. This is my league. Hang on. Next week, we're going to be at Road America. That's going to be a good one. Road America is always fun. It's my favorites.
Oh, Road America is a classic.
Oh, yeah. No, that's going to be awesome.
We'll have to figure it out, but that'll be next week here at OFUC. Like Tony said, but I'll reiterate, OMEC is the place to find us if you want to join in on this Super Formula Light action. OMECSimRacing.com is the easiest way to find it, and you'll find links to the Discord and everywhere else that you need to be in order to join this fantastic league. We'll see you all next Thursday for Road America.
See y'all next week.